I'm Jeremy Pope. I work at the Closing Engine. We help small business owners sell 10 to 20 of their B2B and B2C offers each month, premium offers. Today I want to talk about the right leads versus enough leads. And this is something that probably most people have struggled with at some point or another, especially in the solopreneur feast and famine kind of arena. But we've seen a lot bigger people struggle with this as well, from people who are running $3,000 a day in Facebook advertising to people who are running giant restoration businesses. Everybody has this kind of issue from time to time, but it doesn't always have to be, we've had it ourselves, but it doesn't always have to be that way. When you stay on a certain set of behaviors, there are an awful lot of things that you can do to mitigate the ups and downs. So the way most people think of this is that they aren't seeing enough leads. Now, that they either think that, well, I'm not having enough leads, or I'm not selling enough of the lead. I can't close. And here at the Closing Engine, we do know about closing, and that is a problem sometimes. We do have to set people straight and then come in and become their sales department. So that's perfectly fine to have trouble closing, and sales coaching deals with that. But a lot of times, maybe a third or half of the time, we also find that we have to do some resetting on the expectations of what is closable. Probably almost all, 99% of our clients, we haven't had that many clients, 97% of our clients, something like that. We've had to do funnel consulting with them. We've had to do marketing consulting with them to set up the sales call properly and to screen out the people that are not qualified to be on the phone, because it wasn't that the client was particularly bad at selling. They could use some help, but they weren't getting the right kind of calls in the first place. There was nothing to sell. These are people with no money, or people who weren't good fits for their product, or some other reason like that. It's very, very common. And it usually happens because the foundational work, the boring, unsexy work of avatar development, client profile development, has not been done. We do an awful lot of work on that so that our clients can relax, and we figure out how to extract that from their brains with exactly the right kind of questions. But that's a really important part of what we do. But our clients come in and they're confused, they're frustrated, they're fearful, they're despairing, they don't know where to focus, they don't have the ability to diagnose what the problem is or where to start. Sometimes they're angry. We don't have too many clients that are angry or envious about this kind of thing, but boy, it would be awfully easy to get that way because other people don't seem to have this problem. They look great on social media. Well, we all know that we see the highlight reel on social media. Well, we experience the whole thing for ourselves. So we know our perception is being affected, but goodness, we just want the problem solved. So here's the solution. This is the one thing. Find one thing for lead generation and stick with it much harder than you thought you would have to. That's it. That is the answer. Dig in deep. Learn everything necessary, no matter how much more involved it is than what you'd planned, than what you'd been sold, than what you'd thought. It doesn't matter. Figure this one out. There's always a new boat leaving the docks. Always. They leave the docks every 2.5 minutes. You can find another boat. That's no problem. Don't have any fear of missing out because a shiny object is leaving the dock. Okay? What you need to do is dig in really hard on the thing that you've chosen to do and stick with it. That's all it is. You must become an expert at this because the statistics are not encouraging for small businesses. And this is one of the big reasons why. I think 90% of small businesses fail in the first 5 years, or 99.2% if you're talking about multi-level marketing, network marketing kind of businesses. They have a failure rate like 14 times as high as a regular small business. So I'm not going to talk about those. I'll talk about real businesses, I say. So with a small business, a service business is one of the most common kinds for a solopreneur to start. So let's focus there. You have to get good. You have to get better at this stuff than 95% of the people out there if you want to make more money than 95% of the people out there. So even the top 10% who don't fail in the first 5 years, if you want to make more money than half of the people who just barely stay in business for 5 years, then you have to be in the top 5% of skill in that particular area. And that means whatever lead generation method you choose, whatever qualification methods you choose, you have to be, just to earn in the top half and stay in business for 5 years and make better than average income in that, you have to be in the top 5% of marketers. Don't let that intimidate you though. Just say, okay, it's going to take work. It's going to take real work on all of this stuff. There is no tool that's going to do it for me. And there's no magic one right way. My co-founder used to talk about that a lot. People want the one right way. And it's true, they do. They want to be convinced there is a right way, a correct and an incorrect. That's not the case. There are 1,000 methods of marketing that work. I'm not going to tell you that there's only one way that works. For us and our clients, we've chosen to use LinkedIn direct outreach, podcast guesting, starting our own shows, and Facebook ads. Those 4 things. And we always start with one thing that's most right for that client. Very frequently these days, the type of clients we're getting, LinkedIn is the right place for us to start because it's inexpensive. It's easy to get decently good at, and we're quite good at it. We get, I don't know, average of 50% connection rates, and so it's double the industry average. And then we get a super high conversation rate and a super high, yes, let's talk about this kind of thing. Let's get on the phone. With some of these funnels, it's over 25% from connection requests to yes, let's talk. So we're very good at this stuff. But we started off doing only post-webinar sales calls. We originally called ourselves a post-webinar sales agency or a post-webinar discovery call agency. And that funnel was the Facebook ad to registration to auto webinar that runs 24 times a day or whatever it is to an application for a phone call to the phone call, and we would handle the application and the phone call. That's where we started. But as we handled that part, we found that if our clients were making less than $400,000 a year to $500,000 a year via Facebook ads, we would come on board and they would run out of leads almost instantly, like 45 to 90 days, 45 to 60 days really. They would be out and their cost per lead would skyrocket, and we would say, what is going on? We have nothing to do with this, but this is the first time they've ever encountered it. And they had never scaled Facebook ads before, so they saturated their audiences and they didn't know how to make that funnel convert for the new audiences that were out there. And we just realized, man, okay, if they're going to keep us busy, because we always put 2 people on a funnel right away. We want to have backup so that if somebody gets sick or needs a vacation, then we can rotate our salespeople without any disruption for the client. But in order to keep our people busy enough, then they had to run such a high volume, and they just weren't ready to scale. They didn't know how to do that yet. So we needed a supplemental lead source. We found that for some clients in LinkedIn lead gen, direct outreach. And then we shifted from supplementing the Facebook traffic lead source to starting with LinkedIn, because we could help more people that way. We were able to help a lot smaller client, and it's made all the difference. Now we can generate our own leads for our clients and focus on getting most of them 12 sales per month. That's our big focus now. So we've gone much smaller with the people that we help, and we found that we can charge more because we're doing more for that client. And we found that the relationships are much more fun because we're not just another vendor. We are the sales department. We are the marketing department. And it just creates such an easy way of doing things because we picked one thing and we stick with it. By the way, I'm happy to share that system with you if you'd like. Just let us know on our page, and we'll gladly share our LinkedIn system with you. It's simple stuff. It's just a tremendous amount of work, but everything is. So pick one and stick with it. Get it working first. Commit. Facebook ads, podcasting, LinkedIn, whatever it is, just stick to it long enough to get good. They all work. Thanks for watching this little rant of mine. And please feel free to share this with anybody who might benefit from it. And I'll talk with you soon.